All right, thanks. Well, this is building on what we just sort of introduced, the role of industry in all this. And many of the projects that we've heard about talk about the role of industry. Lloyd's Register is one of our member companies, and we just heard from Carrie Bunnell. Also, we have research institutions as associate members. And where's Carrie? Are you still here? Yeah, well, my wife said just keep going. I'm on a 3-week trip, so I don't know if that's good news or bad news compared to your story. What I'd like to do is really introduce to you the role of industry and how you have now a portal to engage the ocean business community across the sectors in the developments through the Galway process, through European Union, through European Commission calls for proposals. We have been involved in the Galway process as a, we were invited to get involved in this as a way, the World Ocean Council, as a way to help ensure that there is a connection to industry in the 3 areas, the European Union, Canada, and the US, but also to link the kinds of things that are being proposed, that are being developed through Horizon 2020, and the North Atlantic Research Cooperation to that broader ocean business community and the links to the broader ocean science community. To just very quickly give a sense of what the interests and scope of this can be, the ocean business community is of course operating at many different scales. We are working to help that community understand that each of those industries that has sort of a world ocean view needs to be thinking about their role in using ocean space and resources in relation to the other industries that are out there. And we have, of course, as the backdrop to this growing multiple use of ocean space and resources by a growing number and kind of companies working in more and more parts of the world for more and more of the year, and this accelerating cumulative effort by various commercial sectors in the use of the ocean. And this is, of course, creating economic opportunities and value, jobs, the blue economy, blue growth, etc. But we also know, and the science community has been helping put this picture together, that we have a global ocean that is increasingly impacted by human activity. And this creates a challenge for the ocean business community. Companies, even the best companies, that want to do the right thing, they require access, they require social license to continue to provide the goods and services that we all as society want. Energy, transport, protein from fish, etc. And there are men and women out there risking their lives, literally, to provide us with those goods and services. However, these sustainability and environmental challenges are often more than usually more than what one company can deal with, and even in many cases what an entire industry sector can deal with. So to deal with these issues, there's a driver then for collaboration, for leadership, for companies from various sectors to work together, and there's business value to that kind of collaboration. The problem had been that there was no structure and process to bring the various industries together, the leadership companies, to engage on understanding and addressing these sustainability issues. And this is what led to a group of companies, which is now becoming a growing alliance of companies, to create the World Ocean Council. So as you can see here, this is a business leadership alliance. It's bringing together leadership companies from shipping, fishing, oil and gas, aquaculture, the other sectors, to work together on a shared goal and vision here that you can see, and I won't read it out, you can see it up there on the screen. This is moving forward very steadily. We've got 80+ companies, and we've got several hundred more that we are actively discussing with from across these sectors, from around the world, that are coming together to work on this shared goal. There's business value, there's business drivers on this, but I'd also really emphasize the fact that one of the fundamental interests in this is in good science that leads to good risk assessment that then flows into good decision making, good policy, and regulations. At the bottom here, you can see there are, as I say, there are business drivers. There's business value to this kind of leadership and collaboration. And what we want to do with our presence here and our involvement in the Galway process is accelerate and facilitate the interaction of this growing community with the science community, with the government interests, the kinds of projects, and certainly transnational collaboration on ocean science and observations in particular. So let me mention, so basically this is your portal to the global ocean business community at a national, regional, and international scale. We have companies, as I say, from across those sectors, some of the largest companies in the world, also many small and medium enterprises where the innovators and the solution providers are. And we're working to bring those industries together to accelerate the development and implementation of solutions. And again, the role of science and technology and government in supporting and a catalyzing role that some of the projects that all of you are involved in can really help accelerate that process as well. But having the industry input into defining the problems, defining the needs for what kind of science, what kind of technology, what kind of solutions would work with industry to then implement solutions, that's the key opportunity in front of us all. So this is just to give you a sense of the kinds of priorities that are emerging as we get this growing industry alliance for ocean sustainability moving. I won't go into all of these in details. I'll highlight a couple of them in a couple of minutes. But just to quickly mention, so this is the scope that includes things as broad as global ocean policy and things in areas like the law of the sea, the Convention on Biological Diversity. And in fact, we had the first ever global ocean, business forum on ocean policy last year in New York, and we had the commissioner from here at the European Commission, and John Bell and his team were all there, and that was a great opportunity to work to bring together the key components of the Galway process with some of the business community. We're working on these other issues to bring industry more into the process, not only in ocean policy and governance developments, in marine spatial planning as it develops and rolls out in parts of the world, in a series of operational environmental issues such as sound, marine sound, biofouling and invasives, etc. We also are working to develop regional ocean business alliances that sort of scale down this process. And this is where there's a particular opportunity to explore this on a transatlantic scale as the various projects such as Atlantos and others roll out. And we're a part of several of the projects that we've heard about today, Atlantos, PolarNet, and some of the others, and also part of the BG14 coordinating and oversight sort of management that team that is operating out of Ireland. So we've moved forward with this kind of regional development already, very successfully in the Arctic. We've created the first ever Arctic Business Leadership Group, had the first ever business dialogue with the Arctic Council, for example, bringing shipping, fishing, oil and gas, and others together to engage with the governments, and also now working to engage more with the Arctic science and observation community. So this kind of process, we've got a track record in this, and certainly can work with all of you to develop that on a transatlantic scale as well, to bring the key companies together. As I say, we've been developing this and moving it forward for the Arctic very, very successfully with a very welcome reception from governments, the intergovernmental bodies, and the science community. Lastly, I just wanted to highlight a real flagship program and opportunity that we call Smart Ocean, Smart Industries. And this is basically developing the potential, the enormous potential to use more industry infrastructure, vessels, boats, platforms, etc., to host instrumentation, scientists, observers, to collect data in the ocean areas on both ocean, not only ocean parameters, but oceanographic and atmospheric weather and climate data. And I think that's fairly understood and straightforward. The problem has been there has never been a platform or a structure to systematically engage the business community with with the huge amounts of infrastructure that's out there to really scale up and expand the number of vessels and platforms that are involved in data collection, improve the efficiency, help coordinate the role of companies in gathering and sharing data and getting it to the right scientific institutions. We have a lot of support from IOC, from IOS, from the various ocean observing systems and structures that are out there. And this is to be complementary to those and help feed more data from industry platforms and vessels into those existing structures. We're certainly learning from and building on the existing programs that are out there, FerryBox, the Ships of Opportunity program at IOC, et cetera, and have, as I say, encouragement from those programs to create this more comprehensive, structured approach to reaching out to get more industry involvement. In fact, our working group on this Smart Ocean, Smart Industries program is co-chaired by Maersk, and they're basically saying, look, we've got the biggest container fleet out there. We would participate in these kinds of things a lot more. We're busy running a shipping company. Somebody needs to help us provide the interface with the science and the government communities to work out what instrumentation should be collecting what data in what parts of the ocean. And they've come to the World Ocean Council to say, look, we'll join because we want you to help make this happen, amongst other things. So that's the promise and the opportunity of this, ships of opportunity. So if you turn that around on its head, opportunities of ships. How many blue water oceanographic vessels do we have in the research and the government community? Maybe a few dozen? Well, here we've got 50,000 merchant vessels out there right now, and probably more, as the fleets continue to grow. If we can harness a percentage of this, and this also creates a market, if we've got not only big vessels, but oil platforms, fishing boats, 1.3 million fishing boats estimated around the world, 1 million kilometers of submarine cable. Huge opportunities to harness and create a market to drive technology and innovation in sensor development, communications, et cetera. So this is the kind of characteristics that system that we're working to develop will have. We can certainly happy to have more detailed discussions with anyone about this that's interested. And this is the sort of thing, for example, we're working with and through Atlantos to focus on how we can create this kind of interaction with the industry community in the North Atlantic. So lastly, just to give you a sense of where we're at with this and the next steps, is really creating and operationalizing this interaction between industry and the science and observations community and the relevant government agencies to put this to work through a series of pilot projects. We've had a lot of interest, for example, in getting industry more involved in data collection in the Arctic and other parts of the world where there's a lack of data, filling in the gaps. And there was a great slide earlier today about the state of knowledge of the oceans and where there's the significant percentage of need for improving even just basic hydrographic data. And these vessels and platforms of opportunity and the work of industry around the world in the oceans provides a great opportunity to improve on that situation. So I'll leave it at that and really appreciate again the opportunity to help you all understand that there is now a place to call when people say, as I've heard over the decades, we need to engage industry more. Well, who do you talk to? There's millions of workers, there's tens of thousands of companies, there's dozens of industry associations. Now there's an ocean business community portal ready to engage with the science community in developing and implementing a common agenda. Part of that will be advanced at the Sustainable Ocean Summit in Singapore later this year, but right now we're here and ready to engage with all of you in terms of the Galway process and Horizon 2020. So thank you again.